So you have papers due soon. Not the final paper, but your journey to the final paper. And I thought I'd make you cute weekly videos to give you some tips and tricks to writing. What we're doing is we're trying to avoid the night before I write, the night before the paper's due, I write kind of situation, because you inevitably just cannot produce great papers. And I will say that I have been writing now as a profession for 20 years-ish, and you do get better, right? So over time, the better you get at like the writing formula and the better you get at editing, the quicker you can produce writing. But especially when it's a new project, it's a new kind of writing, you cannot do it the night before, because all writing is rewriting. And also, you know, we think that what happens when we write is we have everything figured out in our head, right? Oh, I know my paper. I've read all the stuff for class. I know my paper. Now I just have to get it out on paper. But of course, that isn't how this works, because it's only in the writing that you actually know what it is you're talking about. So you have some ideas circulating around up there, but it's a real like stew. It's a real stew of stuff. And it's the process of the writing that gives shape to what you're thinking, that fleshes out the ideas, that organizes it. And if you've ever had one of those moments where you're walking around and you're writing something in your head, like a job cover letter or an email, and you're like, oh yeah, I got this. And then you sit down and it's just like, nah. I mean, that's what happens. So you got to write it, and then you got to rewrite it, and then you got to rewrite it again. And for those of you who have this, like, I'm not a writer, I mean, nobody's a writer. You know, a writer is a person who writes. That's it. Just like a mathematician is a person who does math, and a yogi is a person who does yoga. I mean, no one is or is not a writer. So, you know, get that out of your head. I mean, you're as much a writer as anybody who has ever written is. You just may not practice writing as often. So let's talk about a couple of things for this first draft. There's a famous writer named Anne Lamott, and she calls every first draft of a paper a shitty first draft. So I call them SFDs. SFD, your first paper is an SFD. I'm only gonna read one page, so I wouldn't write more than one page, double-spaced, right? So you're looking for one page, double-spaced SFD. And the point of the shitty first draft is to just get the idea out. So just write about what you think the paper is about. Write about what you think you struggle with confidence. Write about listening. I mean, whatever. Start writing. So it's about ideas. It's not about how the ideas are phrased. It's not about form. It's not about paragraphs. It's just about writing a bunch of ideas down so that from that we get an idea, right? It's one idea from many that we can focus on. Now, that is not a list. Do not list me out all of the things you want to cover in the paper. I want you to write full sentences, start from the beginning, and go to the end and try to make the sentences connect. And here's why. It's easy enough to just list out a bunch of ideas. That's fine. I mean, that's not even challenging, right? That's just set aside 20 minutes and you can do that. But trying to actually put them together in sentences is damn hard. And that's where your brain really has to go to work connecting the ideas together. That's also where most of the interesting stuff comes from. So as I'm reading through your draft, trying to like pull out the good nuggets, right? The golden nuggets of ideas. If you're writing in a list, I mean, the best I can do is be like, yeah, any of this is fine, but I don't know like what the connection is. So how am I supposed to tell you what to keep? So you got to write it full sentence, start after finish, one page. Don't break the paragraph. Just start and go to the end. Okay, well, how do you do that? So I know a lot of you are starting the draft tomorrow, so this may be a little, I probably should have sent this out a week ago, but here's kind of the idea. If you had a whole week to work on this, here would be my ideal plan. So step one is to brainstorm. This is the listing part. So step one is a list, and you're going to set aside 10 minutes. Like, let's say if you're typically writing on Tuesday, if your writing is due on Tuesday, start the Wednesday or Thursday of your week, right? Start the Wednesday or Thursday of your week. Get a piece of paper, right? I have my little idea notebook for my book. I always keep paper and pen. And for 10 minutes, just list. This is where listing is fine, right? I'm going to talk about confidence. What's confidence? Oh, maybe I could talk about listening. Oh, that's weird. I had this one time with a friend. Yada, yada, right? I'm just listing. Okay. Now, the hard part is, how do you make yourself write for 10 minutes? Well, first of all, have a notebook and a pen. Have it somewhere. You don't need to buy a new notebook. But for some people, that's motivating. But you have a notebook and a pen. then pick something that you're already going to do Wednesday or Thursday that you really like doing. So for me, there are a couple things every day that I love doing that I typically do. I buy coffee to drink. I check my cell phone, and I listen to music on Spotify, right? I would also love to play the piano, but I don't play the piano every day, so I can't pick that. So pick anything that's like small and ritualistic that you're already going to do that you really like. Okay. Then tell yourself that on Wednesday or Thursday, right, so a couple days before the actual paper draft is due, you're going to do this when that thing happens. So when I open up my Spotify playlist to turn on my music for whatever reason, or when I go up to Cricket's counter and I order my coffee, or when I open up Instagram to check Instagram, I don't know, whatever it is, the thing that you do, right? I'm going to pull out my pen and paper, and I'm going to link this up with this. So as I open Instagram, I'm going to put the phone down. I'm going to open up the paper. I'm going to write for 10 minutes. And you can start a timer on your phone. And it's important to stop after 10 minutes, right? It's important to actually legitimately get your brain to believe this is only going to take 10 minutes. Because if you tell yourself you're only going to do 10 minutes and then you do half an hour, your brain then next time is going to be like, well, if we don't have half an hour, and you probably are never going to have half an hour. So you set up your ritual, you open your list, and then you brainstorm. That's 10 minutes. Then you stop. Then the next day or the day after that, right? I would never wait more than one day. You do step 2. Step 2 is going to take maybe another 10 minutes, let's say. And in step 2, you're going to open up your Google Doc, right? I've shared the folder with you. You're going to create a Google Doc in the folder. You're going to upload a document, whatever you want to do. And now, again, pick a ritual. If the coffee thing, I like coffee because I drink 1 cup of coffee a day, and then my brain like kicks into high gear. So I do my best writing when I'm on coffee. You may do your best writing. I mean, you could set aside 10 minutes at night before bed if going to bed is like awesome for you, but you have to kind of play around, but it's only 10 minutes. So you got to find the ritual thing that works for you. Now that we've got this, right, you've got kind of a roadmap of ideas. Now we're going to open up a document and we're just going to typey. Full sentences, right? It doesn't even have to make sense. One sentence does not even have to flow into the other sentence. You can change direction in the middle of the sentence. You can swear. I mean, very often I'll be writing sentence and then it'll just be like, blah, 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 put X here. Blah, 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 what the hell am I talking about? Blah, 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 what does this have to do with this other thing? Because again, it's a shitty first draft, right? And the lower your standards for the first draft, the absolute better, because you will always write a shitty first draft. No matter what, it's going to be terrible. The only question is, are you going to accept that and run with the flow? Or are you going to be super type A and super procrastinating and super perfectionist and keep beating yourself down about it? Or just accept that this is going to be awful. Like, it's going to be the worst. So just agree. In fact, set a goal for yourself that you will write the worst 1 page of an essay you have ever written. The worst, right? And then send it on it. Okay. So that's part 2. So now we're like, I don't know, 3 or 4 days in, and we've written 2 sets of writing for a total of 20 minutes. Then I want you to do 2 5-minute edits. So it might be back to back, might be the night it's due and then the day before, but 2 different days, right? They're going to be 5 minutes each. 5. So just 5. And again, next time you can do more than this, but just see what you can get done in 2 10-minute sessions and 2 5-minute sessions. And here's the way I recommend you do the edits. Get out your phone, your cell phone, right? Go to your Drive, your Google Drive. If you haven't downloaded the app yet, download your Google Drive app. Okay. Go find, I would do this on your laptop, but go find the Google Doc where you put your writing. Star your document. Then when you go into your Google Drive on your phone, you can go into the starred files, and there the document will be. And what I would do is figure out a time of day. Don't plan. I wouldn't even plan it. I would just tell yourself that next time you have 5 minutes of downtime. Maybe you're waiting for something to start. So you're sitting outside the hallway of an aerobics class with your phone, right? Or you're in the bathroom, waiting for the water to warm up or whatever. You're waiting for a friend to come pick you up. You're waiting for your Starbucks order. I mean, whatever. You're on your phone all the time, right? During one of those 5-minute periods, you open up the phone, you open up the document, because it's right in your starred folder. I mean, and this is important. You have to make this easy, because if you're like, you got to open the laptop and you got to do the thing, you're not going to do it. So open the phone, Open the document, hit the edit button, and just read through and make an edit. Delete something, write a new sentence, add something, whatever. Just 5 minutes. Add a couple of edits. Stop. Next day, go back, do another 5 minutes of edits. Stop. Then leave it in the folder.